This is the WGNS Action Line, talking with Rutherford County newsmakers about what matters most to you. Now, your host, Scott Walker.
Well, this morning we'll be talking a little bit about music and the Tennessee Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra. We have CEO Jane McNulty on the air with us, along with Donna Wehover. How are both of y'all doing this morning?
Great.
Warmed up, ready to go.
It's hot out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Balmy. What all is happening this time of year for the orchestra? What is routine for y'all?
Well, we're right in the middle of a season, so we are busy. We just came off in the fall. We had our Latin concert and veterans and a huge Christmas concert, and now we are looking to Valentine's Day and the rest of the season.
Latin music. Tell us a little bit more on that.
That was really fun. We did it in September, and just to celebrate the Hispanic community. And originally it was supposed to be outside at the fountains, and it rained and rained and rained. So we moved it in, but the crowd came with us, and it was just a really fun, upbeat concert.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and Lalo Davila from MTSU was the conductor, and it was
a hoot.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
It was a lot of personality there.
You know, it's always interesting when you talk about bringing in other countries and their music and how they perform music, mixing it with America.
It is, and it's fun for us, even our upcoming jazz concert, to have all these different types. For that concert, it was hard to sit still. And we encourage people to get up, because you've got all that wonderful percussion that's driving.
Donna, tell us, how did you get involved in the orchestra? What led you to that?
Well, I moved here in 1993, and actually the real estate agent found out that I was a musician and told me about the orchestra. She goes, "We have our own local orchestra." So I auditioned for Dr. Lawrence Harvin and started playing in the 94 season, and I've been a member ever since and just really love it. And the community and the type of music that we play, and I mean that it's a professional organization. We are professional musicians. I have my degree from the Cincinnati Conservatory, as do all the other musicians playing. So yeah, it's just amazing that a town like Murfreesboro has a professional orchestra.
What was the first instrument you learned how to play, and how old were you at the time?
Well, I was in first grade when I started taking piano lessons. And then at that time, they were starting band in fourth grade. So I started playing the flute then. And that's the instrument that I play, flute and piccolo, in the orchestra.
It's interesting when you start talking about music, no matter who you're talking to, they can name specific periods of their life, things they went through, and it's all tied to music. They can tell you what songs relate to whatever they were doing at the time or what they were feeling even.
Oh gosh, music is so important and integral to our lives. And that's true. You hear a song that you went to your first dance in high school, and you're right back there. Music helps us travel in time.
It's really neat how it does that. Mm-hmm. Talking about you and how music was there for you throughout your entire life, what are some key things that you may recall that you really enjoyed when it comes to music?
Oh, right. Definitely. The high school marching band was a big thrill for me. Now taking quartets out into the schools. As far as education, I'm a former general music teacher, and I still keep my hand in. And through the TPO, their generous donations, we're able to take music out into the schools with an instrument petting zoo. And so that's what I hope to give back, is to the students. We perform a lot for second grade students, but trying to already inspire them to be future musicians, or at least just be able to appreciate music and be our future audience.
I've noticed that kids, no matter what age they are, whenever a musician or a band plays before them at school, they get quiet and they actively listen, and they listen intently. Whereas if you bring in a speaker, it's not that same situation. But with music, you can tell their appreciation for it, their love for it. even if it's not music they traditionally listen to.
Exactly. And that's what, with the educational programs, we try to bring all types of music to expose them to. We do a little classical music, but it's Vivaldi's Four Seasons. So everyone can relate to the season. Oh, and this is what he thought of with summer or spring. Or then we go on to movie music, John Williams and the Star Wars themes and things like that. And then jazz music. We do the, Pink Panther and all of that. Country we do with one of our state songs, Rocky Top. And so all of that is something that we expose them to. Even like with our jazz that's coming up, that is something that the kids, I think a lot of them too, their parents may listen to that at home. And so that's something that they might already be exposed to. And things.
We do try to keep our music varied. Most of us that work with, even on this side of the orchestra, have a musical background of some sort. And so, I bring to it, I was an Air Force entertainer, and so I'm not classical, but I had more of the entertainment experience with music. And so we try to incorporate all of that into a symphony concert.
And I'm sure you guys have traveled a lot of different places, but I'm curious, what is your overall thought on how music is intertwined with just our daily lives here in Tennessee, because we're right next to Music City, versus in other states or other areas?
Well, I don't know if there's that much of a difference. For me, music is everywhere. If you really, when you watch TV, it's the background. It's it gets dark and moody when the killer's coming, and then it gets happy when the saving person, the hero comes.
Right.
And it's everywhere we go. In fact, in this room right now, I don't hear any because we're doing this, but that's unusual. Even in your lobby, there was music. So music, it creates a mood, it creates feeling, it transports us. And being this close to Music City, I suppose we have the benefit of great musicians right now.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So our orchestra
we pull from. Yes.
Yeah. So we do benefit being this close with musicians that also play in Nashville.
Studio musicians.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting you said that about the movies and the music that's the underlying tone of the movie. But when that music is not there in a movie, you notice there's something missing.
Yeah.
But when it's there, it adds to it. Even if you don't physically recognize, there's music playing in the background. But if it's not there, that's when it changes whatever that setting is you're watching on that movie.
Right. I like to think of it as without music, life is black and white. And as soon as you add the music, all the color comes. That's, to me, music reaches your soul. And it changes who you are. Yeah,
music is a great way to reach people in general, but kids, going back to the children, it's a great way to reach them. How often do students come up to you after you perform and they say, I want to learn how to play, and then fill in the blank, whatever instrument it may be?
Oh, every time there's at least one students saying that, especially like with the string instruments. We get that a lot because they are allowed to actually play those, and we don't have a lot of string programs. Their first time playing a violin, that they're like, oh, this is what I want to play, or something. And so it's just really neat to be able to see their expressions and the joy on their face when they're actually playing those instruments.
Is there one instrument that stands out where kids more often than not say, this is what I want to learn to play? Is it the strings or is it something else?
I think depends on the child, because I know personally, I knew I wanted to play the flute. So I think there's a feeling within you that helps you choose your instrument, because my parents wanted me to play clarinet, and I'm like, no, I'm a flute player. I will be playing the flute. So I think the same thing with those children. They get an instrument in their hand and like, oh, this feels nice, or I like how big this is. Maybe one of the big brass instruments that, oh, I like the feel of this, the weight, or just the drums. Any percussion instrument that playing. And the parents, oh yeah, they used to beat on the pots and the pans and all of that. So yeah, equal.
The other neat thing about music is literally anybody can learn how to play an instrument if they just dedicate themselves to it. Everybody may end up playing differently in the end, but we can learn how to play whatever instrument we desire to play. You just have to put forth the effort.
Yeah, I think, learning an instrument is a skill. A skill can be learned. Sometimes there's artistry that is a little bit more innate, but everybody can learn an instrument, and everybody can learn an instrument at every age. Some people think if I'm 60, I can't learn to play piano, but you can, because it is a skill set. And like you said, if you practice and dedicate, yourself, but they'll say, oh, I'm not, only a 7-year-old can learn something new. No, anybody at any age can learn any instrument.
Average person doesn't really realize how important, how intertwined in our lives music is until you start talking to somebody who can relate some significant story to you about how music played a role in their life. And I was talking to one person who was talking to me about saying, I haven't picked up a musical instrument since, I think it was their husband who passed away. But they were saying my life with him was so closely knitted to music and us playing together that I just haven't been able to bear the thought of playing again without him. But that just really says a lot.
Yeah, it does. I teach a lot of adults, and when they call me to talk about learning an instrument, they'll say, oh, it's on my bucket list. I regret stopping taking, maybe they took in elementary school and they went through middle school band and then they gave it up. And it's always something that they say, I wish I had stuck with it. I wish I had stuck with it, because it does carry you all the way through.
But you can always pick it up again and start to learn really at any age. And it's great as you age, maybe in retirement. It's great to learn how to play an instrument. It keeps your mind alive.
Yeah, it's very good for the brain. They talk about puzzles, but learning music, a new instrument, is excellent for the brain.
Any instruments that y'all can think of that would be easier for a beginner out there to learn to play on for the first time, no matter the age?
Well, it's probably not what you're thinking, but my husband has a Murfreesboro ukulele club, and ukulele's a fun little one. You can learn it. You can learn it in a couple hours. It takes some fingers a little bit, to transition. It's really 3 chords that you start with. But that's a happy little instrument that takes nothing, and it's inexpensive to learn, and you can go online and play, along with music online. It's a fun, happy little instrument. That's one that's easy.
Yes, a little easier than the guitar, because I think people naturally think guitar, but the ukulele is much more manageable.
I know there are events coming up. What's the next big event coming up?
The next one is our jazz. We have it on February 11th. And this is at The View, which is an event space upstairs at the Fountains at the Avenue. And it is a jazz concert. It's all the standards we love, Without a Song and My Funny Valentine and Under My Skin and Come Fly With Me, just some of these great jazz standards. It's a fun little toe-tapping concert.
And where does the Tennessee Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra play?
Well, we kind of bounce around a little bit. The 2 concerts after that will be at Bel Air Baptist. That's been a great venue for us. They've been super supportive. It's got nice acoustics. It's a pretty place to be, and we'll do our education concert there as well as our season finale there.
We've been talking about music and how it intertwines with people's lives and everything, but Valentine's Day is coming up. That is one of those times where music could indeed play a huge role in your life if you play your cards right.
Yes, it can. Who doesn't have a favorite love song?
That's right.
I mean, that takes us back too. It's a very romantic time of year, and music plays right into it.
Exactly, and being a little bit before being on the 11th, what a perfect opportunity to go out to dinner. You don't have all the crowds, then come to the concert at 7:00.
So at that Valentine's concert on February 11th, where is that going to be, and how do we go about getting tickets for it? All that stuff.
You can get tickets. The website is tnphil.org, and you can get tickets online. You can call the office at 615-898-1862, and you can order tickets there. You can get some at the door. This is a kind of a big concert, though, so we always recommend people get their tickets in advance. And again, it's at The View, which is at the Fountains of Gateway on Medical Center Parkway, and it's an upstairs beautiful venue surrounded by windows that give a view. And it's a nice venue for us.
I'm curious, what are some of the more memorable things people have said to you after you guys perform?
Well, one that we get a lot, and we're getting better with this one, is, I had no idea you were here. People say, oh, you're the best kept secret. We don't want to be the best kept secret. I think that's probably the biggest one. They're so impacted by the fact that we have a fully professional orchestra right here in Murfreesboro. The parking is free. The tickets are reasonable. It's right here, and you don't have to go 23 miles north to and do all the parking. I mean, it's a fabulous orchestra, really. And we always ask people, just come one time. And
exactly.
We gotcha. Yeah.
Well, I have a friend that's a first-time season ticket holder, and every time I run into her, she keeps saying, "My husband and I have just enjoyed the concert so much," and I think they're surprised that that they are enjoying that, and just thought, oh, well, we'll try it this one time, and then just have really looking forward and, saying we're looking forward to this jazz concert, and, it's just something that is now a part of their lives.
There's nothing like live music.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a benefit to being so close to Nashville. Everybody loves to go down and listen. But when you're sitting in front of 50 musicians, and they're playing John Williams, or they're playing whatever they're playing, you can't help but be impacted.
Well, and you can feel the music, and when you're able to feel it, see it, and hear it, it really does. When it touches all the senses, it becomes even more amazing, I think.
Truly. And we hope to design a season that there is something for everyone. So, there's a little bit of classical here. There's the big band coming up. There's a little bit for everybody at all. There's the patriotic and the Christmas. I mean, hopefully, just come to one. Just come to one.
Now, Jane, I know we've talked before about the idea of the orchestra having its own symphony hall, having its own venue to perform at permanently. Is that something that is any closer on the horizon?
The conversations are growing, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's perfect.
It will be. How about this? It'll be in our lifetime.
How big of a venue is needed for something like that? I mean, because you're talking about at least 50 people on the stage. That's
the stage requirements are pretty big, but most high schools have stages that are that size. So it's not like we're asking for something that's never been done. I mean, at Bel Air Baptist, we're able to get everyone on that space. So it's not unheard of. It's I think probably a pretty common standard stage space.
Mm-hmm. Now, I remember growing up, and my parents would go to the the Parthenon in Nashville and all of that, and there'd be an outdoor venue there, and I think it's still set up there where like a big band would be performing or something. But I remember as a kid just looking at that, thinking how neat that was, the sound of it, the look of it, the saxophone play. I mean, just all of it put together. Is there something or a chance for something like that to happen here in Murfreesboro?
I think we had a chance for an outdoor amphitheater type situation, because you do rather need a cover. Now, I know the Fountains has been very kind. We've played out there several times during the warm season.
Right.
And they'll cover the stage, for us. So, I mean, you're sitting where you are. Start talking about it. Yeah. Say it every day. We need a performance hall.
I know the idea came up of putting together some type of outdoor venue like that, a performance venue next to Cannonsburg. And that was several years ago. I don't know whatever became of those discussions, but I still think that area would be a great area to have it, because it'd be right next to downtown Murfreesboro.
Honestly, with the special census that's happening, everyone knows that we have grown incredibly over the last 5 years. And I think what's happening is our city leaders are recognizing that this isn't just a want, this is a need. And other communities around us, Clarksville, Franklin, everyone's building these things because this is important for the health of the community, to have these spaces where we can gather, where we can listen to music, where we can relax. And I know that our city leaders have been busy building schools, which of course we must have as well. But I think now that pendulum is swinging to where we all understand this is a necessity. It's not just a nice thing to have. We need these places to gather together and enjoy each other with music.
Again, joining us, Donna Wehover and also Jane McNulty. And Jane is the Tennessee Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra CEO. Music and the Valentine's concert, which is February 11th. I'm not a city leader, so I can say this, but I think sometimes as communities grow, as cities grow, our vision for that city that we may live in, it doesn't keep up with the growth of the city. We don't expand our vision enough like we should.
Well, and this particular, I think, happened so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, I think it surprised everyone. You know, we all remember when they built Medical Center Parkway. And it was a long time vision because, you know, if they build it, they will come, that type thing.
Right.
And now, I think they just, it's hard, the wheres and the hows and the how muches, it's overwhelming, I'm sure. But I think we're getting closer.
Yeah, within the next 20 years, Rutherford County is going to reach a population of at least 700,000. That's huge.
I can't even imagine.
I can't either.
Well, and then we've got these people coming from like California and the state of Washington and all these large communities out west that they've had this in their communities, the fine arts, and they're coming here looking for that same thing. And so that too, we need to, you know, draw those people in.
Right. There's a
And who
demand.
have who have had that in the past and are surprised at how large Murfreesboro actually is now, and that we aren't offering something that they've had.
Those who live in California now, I think we're going to see an even larger influx in population from the West Coast because of all those fires.
I agree.
Really, there's no telling how large our area is going to grow over the next few years.
And we welcome everyone, but I think to Donna's point, we have to be able to offer all of these things, not just because they're coming, but because we are a large enough community that we deserve these spaces.
Right, and we can support it.
We can support these spaces.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's special census counts being done in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, but will any of those numbers, will those help the orchestra in any way? Is there any method of funding that will allow for that to help the orchestra?
I don't know. We don't know. What we are excited about is there are more people that we can reach through our audiences. I mean, we want bigger audiences. The hardest part that we find right now is how to get to them, how to communicate with the new people. So here I am telling you, you have a wonderful orchestra right here in Murfreesboro. Come out on February 11th and check us out. You know, it's just, that's been tricky, is trying to connect.
As all the avenues for contacting people these days through social media, through radio, through TV, and so on, as those numbers grow as far as the numbers of ways to do it, the fragmentation of people actually grabbing and listening and holding on to the information is a different story.
Whole
it's
different story.
very fragmented out there. It's very confusing at times.
Right, I think so. I mean, we've hired people to try to get into those algorithms so that we're showing up on their social media pages, but it's tricky, you know, but we'll figure it out.
But one thing that can bring people together, music, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, all that music that's offered on the square and all of these things through the summer, these are incredibly important for our community to reach those folks.
As we close this morning, what is something that you would say to somebody who may be new to the area as far as inviting them to come and listen to what the orchestra has to offer?
I would start by saying go to tnphil.org and tnphil.org and look at our concert season. We'll be announcing our next season in the coming months, and come out and be a part of us. We would love to have you. We will entertain you. You're going to love it.
And are there any opportunities for new musicians in our area to get involved with the orchestra?
Oh, yes. I'm also personnel manager for the orchestra. And all the time we are getting emails from musicians introducing themselves. I'm new to the area. I see you have an orchestra. Right now, we do not have any permanent positions available, but as I tell them, you know, please submit your resume. And I'm always looking for subs.
Yeah.
For as different things come up for some of our members. And I have a huge list of people who are very interested in being part of the orchestra. And then that's the same website also for any musicians who are new to the area to contact us and all of that.
And does the Tennessee Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra, do they do any traveling, or are they literally always based right here in Rutherford County and stay in this area?
Yeah, we stay
in
here.
this area.
Yes.
So this would be a great, venture for people to get involved in if the opportunity arises, because they would be right here at home.
Exactly.
Yes, and if people want to volunteer, it's a big organization, takes a lot of people. Reach us out to us that way too. We've got lots of things moving, a lot of moving parts, and would love to meet you and have you be a part that way.
And how often do you go into the schools? And if a teacher wants to have you in the classroom, I'm sure visit the website, but how hard is it to schedule something to have somebody come out to one of the schools or classrooms?
I just need a month notice. And so already we have 4 schools scheduled for January, 5 scheduled for February. We have another 4, I think, in March.
Oh, wow. So
yes, these are January, February, and March are our busy months because we do a science of sound it's a STEAM-based program. And this is when second grade tends to teach that unit on the science of sound. And so that's why we have so many county and city schools, not to mention some of the private and home schools also scheduled.
And just to write on that a little bit, all of this we couldn't do without the financial support of this community. So that's always welcome. Every time we do a school, people have to be paid. So we welcome always your donations and financial support, because we are a nonprofit and we are supported by the community.
And we go into the schools at no cost to them.
And gosh, the number of schools now, 65 public schools?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Between the city and the county, and then all the private schools. We're
Right.
getting more and more.
Right.
So it's wild. It's definitely a growing area.
Yes, it is.
Again, we've been talking about the Tennessee Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra. And Jane, again, the website is what?
tnphil.org, tnphil.org.
And once more, that concert, the Valentine's concert, that's on February 11th, and you can actually buy tickets online for that.
Yes.
But thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Right now, that time, 8:45. Stay with us. We do have more news and information coming up.
Hey, this is Dan with Music World and Drummers Den. Come in for your guitars, keyboards, drums. We have you covered. Lessons, we got that. Drums and every other instrument with strings or keys. Music World and Drummers Den, the one-stop shop where you have everything that you might need. Ukuleles, violins, things that they're not expecting to find just everywhere they go. Come see us at Music World and Drummers Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course. Music World and Drummers Den.
Hi, this is Peter Demas. One of the things that we've done years ago is we've been able to do our orders, like our pastas and many other items that we used to be able to put them in large pans, and now we have a catering team that will even deliver it to your home. We can drop it off for you, set it up, or they can come in and pick it up. Look up our catering menu on www.demasrestaurants.com. This is Peter Demas at Demas's Restaurant, 1115 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro.
Hi, this is Tina Fox at the Rutherford Farmers Co-op. Please come see us for all your cold weather needs. We have a great selection of Carhartt clothing to keep you warm, and as always, our warm muck boots to keep your feet warm. We have anything you would need to keep yourself warm or your animals warm. Please come see us. And if you're trying to feed your feathered friends through the cold months, we also have a wide selection of birdseed. That's the Co-op Farm and Home Center on Middle Tennessee Boulevard, just off of South Church.
Get old. Old National Bank, that is. Old National Bank has the experience and service you need to buy a home, make investments, even online and mobile banking. Old National Bank is in the borough on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Old National Bank at 2230 Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard, which used to be Mercury Boulevard.
Visit us and enjoy warm, homemade cookies at Old National Bank.
Old National Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.